Have you ever just looked around at the stuff you own? The phone in your hand, the TV in your living room, the sneakers on your feet? Chances are they come from all over the world. It really feels like the world's marketplace is right at our fingertips, doesn't it? Well, today, we're going to unpack the massive force that makes all of this possible, globalization, and what it really means for the Indian economy. So let's start with a simple question. Why is it that you can just walk into a store and find an incredible range of products from all over the globe? This wasn't the reality for our parents' generation. The markets were, well, very different. So what exactly happened to give us all this choice? I mean, just look at cars. There was a time when Indian roads pretty much had two options, the Ambassador and the Fiat. That was it. Today, you can find cars from nearly every major company in the world right here in India. In just a couple of decades, our markets have been totally transformed. So the big question is, what's the engine behind this massive change?
The answer, for the most part, comes down to one powerful player that has completely rewired how the world does business. You've definitely heard of them. I'm talking about the multinational corporation, or as we all know it, the MNC.
Okay, now this is a really important definition, especially for your exams, so listen up. An MNC isn't just a company that sells its products everywhere. The key here is that it owns or controls production in more than one country. And why would they do that? It's all about one thing, finding cheap labor and resources to slash production costs and, you got it, make bigger profits.
So how does this actually play out? Well, think of it like a giant global assembly line. An MNC that makes, say, industrial equipment might do all its high-tech design work in research centers in the United States. Then they'll get the individual components manufactured in China because it's super cost-effective. After that, they ship all those parts to Mexico and Eastern Europe to be assembled, simply because those locations are right next door to their huge markets in the US and Europe.
And this is where India fits into the puzzle. The final step, customer care, is very often handled by call centers located right here. And why India? It's because we have this huge pool of skilled, educated young people who speak English fluently and can provide top-notch service. For the MNC, this is a game changer. It can lead to cost savings of 50 to 60%. That is a huge advantage. So we've established who is driving all this change. It's the MNCs. But how do they actually do it? How do they weave together production and markets all across the planet? Well, they have a couple of major tools in their toolbox. And the first one is all about money. It's called investment. Before we go any further, let's just make sure we're on the same page with this basic term. Investment is just the money someone spends to buy assets, things like land, a building, new machines, you name it. The whole point, the hope, is that these assets will help earn profits down the line. Simple as that. Now, when an MNC is the one making that investment in a different country, we give it a special name, foreign investment. This term is absolutely crucial to remember. So from now on, when you hear foreign investment, I want you to immediately think of MNCs spending money to set up factories or buy companies abroad. And it's not just cash. This investment often brings cutting-edge technology along with it. So what do MNCs do with all this foreign investment? They usually have two main strategies. Sometimes they'll team up with a local company, which can be a win-win. But a really common tactic, especially for the giant MNCs with deep pockets, is to just flat out buy a local company. A classic example is the American MNC Cargill Foods. They came to India and bought Parak Foods, a successful Indian company. Just like that, Cargill got control of Parak's well-known brand, its huge marketing network, and all its oil refineries. Overnight, they became the biggest producer of edible oil in India. That totally changes the game for all the smaller local businesses trying to compete. Okay, so investing in setting up production is one major way MNCs connect the world. But there's another, equally powerful tool they use, foreign trade. This is just the simple act of buying and selling goods across national borders. And to really understand its impact, there's no better example than what happened when Chinese toys flooded the Indian market. Let's break this down because it's a perfect illustration. So Chinese toy makers start exporting their products to India. For us, the buyers, this was amazing. Suddenly there's way more choice and the prices are much cheaper. For the Chinese manufacturers, it was a golden opportunity to expand their business. But what about the Indian toy makers? Well, they just couldn't compete with those low prices. They faced devastating losses as their sales just dried up. This shows us that foreign trade always creates winners and losers. Okay, so let's take a step back. We've talked about MNCs spreading their production lines across the world. We've defined foreign investment and foreign trade. Now it's time to put all these pieces together and look at the big picture. Think of it like a simple formula, right? You take MNCs, strategically organizing production all over the globe, you add in massive amounts of foreign investment, and you mix in a rapid increase in foreign trade. What does that all add up to? You get globalization. This right here is the heart of the whole topic. This is the definition you need to know. Globalization is the process of rapid integration or interconnection between countries. And notice that word, process. It's not a single thing that happened. It's an ongoing force that's constantly changing our world. And this visual really says it all. You can see the MNCs sitting right in the middle, acting as the main drivers of this whole process. The result is what we see every day. A greater flow of goods, services, investments, and technology moving between countries. It's bringing the world closer together, for better or for worse, than at any other time in history. All right, I know that was a lot to take in, so let's slow down and boil it all down to the absolute must-know points. If you're studying for an exam, you might want to get ready to screenshot the next slide. This is your cheat sheet. Let's do a quick recap. First, an MNC is a company that controls production in multiple countries. Got it? Second, these MNCs are the ones interlinking the world, and they do it using foreign investment and by taking control of production. Third, foreign trade helps connect markets, which means more choice for us as consumers, but also way more competition for local producers. And finally, when you put all of that together, you get globalization, that whole process of rapid integration. So we've seen how globalization is this powerful force connecting countries and completely changing markets. But this whole discussion leaves us with a really critical question, one we need to think about. Remember the Indian toy makers? This process creates incredible opportunities and generates immense wealth. But does everyone actually get an equal slice of the pie? Is the benefit shared by all? That's a tough question, and one we'll have to dig into more next time.